Welcome to Transitional Objects, a podcast about grief, friendship, trauma, healing, and the strange cosmic magic that shapes us when we're not looking. We're two longtime friends and therapists who've been through some things, a lot of things. And now we're talking about the big stuff, what we carried, what we let go of, and what we're still very much figuring out. Unfiltered, occasionally spiritual, always real. Think of it like therapy, but with more cosmic detours and fewer billing codes. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to our first podcast, Transitional Objects.
When you're a kid, a transitional object is easy to spot. It's a blanket, a teddy bear, a thumb, something soft to hold while everything around you changes. But when you grow up, those objects get more sneaky. They look like playlists or people or panic scrolls or lies. Sometimes they're good for us, but sometimes they're a little sketchy. This podcast is our transitional object, something we made to hold on to while the world spins. And we're guessing you might need one too. So here we are. I'm Laura Walton.
And I'm Bridget Tremblay.
And we are your hosts of the Transitional Objects podcast.
Number one,
the very first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think we should do a little introduction of who we are as individuals and then who we are in relationship to each other. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Like Laura said, we are longtime friends. We've been friends for 20 years. I grew up in New Hampshire and traveled a bunch, and I ended up in Los Angeles about 20 years ago. And that's when I met Laura. And I'm also a therapist, just like Laura, but she can get into that. I started my master's degree in Los Angeles, California, and then I pursued my doctoral degree in clinical psychology, again in Los Angeles, California, and then moved to Maine, which is where I currently reside with my family. And yeah, we met at a yoga, well, not yoga studio, but it was back in the day, it was into public store, but it was Lululemon, and I'm sure a lot of you know what Lululemon is, but back in the day in 2005 no one did. So that's where we met at a group interview, and we got our jobs, and we were fiercely bonded after that, and we have just stuck by each other's sides since, till we speak now.
20 years later.
I know, 20 years later, and it's been amazing. A rocky, rolly ride.
Yeah, rock and roll ride.
Yeah.
So I'm Laura. I am originally from Arizona, from Phoenix, and I live in Arizona now. But there was a period of my life where about 10 years in my 20s, where I moved around between LA, Portland, and Reno. It was during my time in LA where Bridget and I met at Lululemon, and where we just became pretty much inseparable from not quite day one, but from maybe day 14, 2 weeks in.
Fair enough, that tracks.
Yes, and I'm also a therapist now, living in Phoenix, and we did, for a business I have, Bridget and I did a podcast episode a couple of months ago, and just, I'll speak for myself, you can comment, but I was surprised by just how fun it was, and like how, even despite the topic, which was grief, but the conversation was just such like a fun, inspiring, motivating conversation that was just felt so good to have between us. But then I was also surprised by, once that episode was released, the amount of people who both of us know, but also people who I just know that you don't know, who reached out to me and said, wow, I just listened to this podcast. I learned so much, blah, blah, blah. And so there was just such a tremendous amount of feedback from that I was like, hey, maybe we should start a podcast. Kind of halfway joking, but Bridget jumped on the idea and here we are.
Which also tracks. It's like, that's kind of the essence of our friendship. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's go there. You know, it doesn't matter how extreme we do it. We figure it out.
So is there anything you want to add to how this whole thing all started?
The podcast. Yeah. That was, I don't even listen to podcasts. I know I'm guilty.
I don't either.
Yeah, okay. I don't even know if I should say that, but that was actually my first podcast that I've ever done because I know you and I feel so safe and comfortable with you. I really just like, I don't know, 5 minutes into it, just thought I was talking to you without a screen in front of me. But afterwards, I did, like you, also receive some folks that reached out, mainly that I know, some that you don't. Actually, same, but different. We'll talk about that. Note that. And again, just kind of touching people. I think that we both shared some similar points of grief for people. And I think the way that we were able to be open and transparent and vulnerable with it, it's really valuable and it can help people, I believe, make some understanding of their own grief.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that seemed to be a lot of the feedback we got as far as people's being able to relate their own experiences to it. And I think it was also a really cool experience just for us to have to kind of rehab, because we've known each other for 20 years and our life in our 20s was obviously very different than our life in our 40s now is. And I think we have, due to a lot of reasons, like age is just one, but we also have education that, you know, not everybody comes at life from the perspective that we have through that.
Right.
I think there's some ways, speaking for myself at least, that I'm able to better understand what our life was like in the 20s and how that was and make sense of it in a different way now that I think is very interesting.
Yeah, same. I know. And it was such a humbling experience and a really good testament to humility. Because I really do, and I think I did say this to you in Grief on Purpose, paraphrasing, but I really do feel like I lived a different life. It was worlds away. Like who actually is that and was that person? I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't rewind. No regrets at all, but holy cow. Completely different. And I think given the trajectory, the career trajectory, the professional trajectory that I've chosen, and you have too, absolutely pokes at some of that humility. Like, oh God, you know, it's kind of like, oh, I'm so cringy. Oh my God. But I think there is something to be said about honoring some of those cringe worthy, embarrassing moments of your life because it's gotten you where you are today, right? And I think there's something liberating and freeing, taking ownership of some of those things.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So that brings us to Transitional Objects, our podcast. We threw out thousands, probably, of name options. But I mean, I really loved the Transitional Objects one. I assume you did too, because that's what we went with.
Yeah.
But what is a transitional object? How do we explain that in maybe like really human terms?
Yeah, in human terms. Okay, because I was like, oh, well, Winnicott, who is a psychologist who actually coined the term, but no, we're not going to talk about jargon. Yeah, when I think of a transitional object, I think of something, an object, a person, a smell, a fantasy, you know, that grounds me, regulates me, soothes me, and it helps me get through something, helps me transition to something. And I think it really resonated when we landed on that, because it's like, oh my God, just to even talk about what's been going on in the world, just the systemic angst, the agita, everything, the divide. I mean, people are in a lot of transition. And so, you know, it's like, I guess I wonder too, like, what are other people's transitional objects? And really can't wait for other episodes to find out how some of the people are coping And are they using transitional objects to get through the climate we're in today?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very relevant, yes, today. But part of the reason that I really liked the name is because between us, it was for a long period, it was an inside joke, still is an inside joke, that transitional objects, which I don't know if I could remember exactly where it started. Maybe you do. But
Yes, I love the concept of it. I learned about it in my MFT program.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so do you remember where the first thing between us that we labeled as a transitional object?
Oh, geez, what a stumper of a
What a
question.
stumper.
Oh man, no, I know I'm not going to say, but it's almost like I can picture it. I can envision it. And I want to say we related the term in that moment to a person.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I think so too. And I think the one thing I think of when I think of transitional objects, but I think we started this before this though, was when
Yeah.
we went on a trip together to Thailand and we had a layover in Hong Kong, was it?
Tokyo.
In Tokyo. Um, and that was a hellacious flight getting out of LA to Tokyo that was delayed, and we missed a flight because it was delayed. So we ended up getting there in the middle of the night in Tokyo, stranded, and we had to wait like 12 hours for our next flight or something ridiculous. And literally out of nowhere, a guy who was on our flight from LA comes up, says, "Hey, you guys, I'm flying first." He must have been flying first class. "I'm flying first class, so I have access to the business lounge in this airport. Do you want to be my guest and come in?" And we were like, "Yes, we do." And he let us in, and then he just disappeared. Like
He just disappeared.
he wasn't trying to be a creep. He wasn't like trying to do anything. He just let us in, which gave us access to food and couches and showers and drinks and like the best possible way you could spend 12 hours stranded at
It
an
was
airport.
glorious.
Yeah. And he just let us in and then he disappeared and we never had to deal with him again. But I remember we called him a transitional object. He helped us to get through a kind of an uncomfortable time. And that's the first one that sticks out in my head. But we've definitely over the years, labeled many people as transitional objects. Many things, many choices, many activities as transitional objects. So that's sort of the personal meaning that it has to us. That was appealing for this podcast.
That is so, that you are right. And that is the same but different. That is such a good full circle turn. Because same but different was plastered everywhere in Copenhagen, Thailand. I still have a t-shirt that says same but different. Anyway, yes, I do remember that. Good memory. I feel like we have been each other's transitional objects.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that earlier, just through the 20-year gap, or not gap, but 20-year range that we've known each other.
Yeah.
We both were very different people 20 years ago in our 20s than we are now. But yeah, we've been transitional objects for each other in various forms throughout those years to still have this connection that we do have.
Yes. And like, just to even throw in, like you and I being each other's kind of unconscious, if you will. It's like this unconscious pull, gravity, but here comes the cosmic stuff. I don't want to say always, because extremes are hard at times, but I want to say that most of our times that you and I have been transitional objects, like you and I have predicted, this is going to be hard. This is going to make us nervous. We're going to throw up. Not, actually throw up, but we felt so nervous in our bodies that we needed each other to be with each other to get through something. But most of these things that we knew that we were going to feel discomfort, something cosmic and serendipitous and intuitive would occur to this day.
It does. Yeah.
To this day.
Do you have an example?
God, there's so many.
There's a million, but a good one.
A million. Maybe you can piggyback off of my memories of this, but remember my in Catalina Island.
God. Yes. What was that? Why
Oh,
were we in Catalina?
The whole trip. I thought I was tripping. I was
Yeah.
diving full force, but I wasn't. But this was my bridal shower. We went to Catalina Island. There's a handful of us. This was for my first marriage to my ex-husband. Every single thing, step, choice, direction of that trip felt like assigned to something. I'm just gonna make a connection here, which we did. But as we left that trip, and man, there were so many things that went on in that trip. But as we left that trip, all of us, all 6 of us or whatever, stumbling on the catamaran to go from Catalina to, what was it, Long Beach, California? Yeah. And we're going out, we're sailing out, slightly hungover, maybe majorly hungover. I don't know. But I'm just like thinking, thank God we're off this island. What the fuck was that? And as I was saying that to you, there was someone that came on the what is it? No, the
noisemaker.
I'm a mom. The noise machine.
The loudspeaker? Yeah. The announcer?
The loudspeaker. That someone jumped off the ship and we have to go back because they're getting arrested.
Because this is now viewed as a terrorist threat because they had to search through all the luggage, whatever.
Yes,
so
that's right. Yeah. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, just when we're free, just when we're free. And I remember everyone on the ship was like, what is going on? Who was it? Who jumped? Are they okay? So many questions swirling. And lo and behold, we found out that it was someone in a domestic fight.
Yeah, it was a couple and they were drunk and they got in a fight.
Yeah, and they just said, you know what?
And the guy just jumped.
Yeah. And I am going to make it, because this is, our podcast and we are totally vulnerable. I feel like that was a sign to me.
Oh, that you should jump?
Yes.
Not literally, but yes.
Like that was like the clearest sign. Because everything in that bachelorette, it was a bachelorette party, sorry, was like, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel good. This isn't right. And then it's like, okay, let's go. And then this. And I don't know if I remember it then or if I didn't want to feel it then. I think that was it. That those were signs that this wasn't the marriage I was supposed to, this wasn't the person I was supposed to be with. And I knew that, not consciously, but there was so much symbolism in that 36 hours that I to this day, I can't even track it all. But that was the kicker. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, that's an example. That was a long-winded answer to some of those cosmic.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up because I was looking through this earlier this week, just looking through some photos because we're trying to find more photos of us to use for this podcast. A lot of our photos are old, but one of the photos that I found was of us from that trip. It was the 2 of us on either side of some guy wearing an animal mask, like that group of guys at that restaurant.
Yes.
And I saw that, I'm like, this is a perfect transitional objects photo because that guy is a transitional object.
Absolutely.
We don't even know who he was. He was wearing a mask the whole night. It was just like this group of drunk guys at this restaurant, all wearing animal masks, singing. Yeah. It was so random, but we got this photo with this guy. So how do you, for understanding this concept of transitional objects, how does that guy fit into the definition of being a transitional object, do you think?
It symbolized and identified and represented something that I wasn't really willing to come to terms with myself at that period of time. What I was about to do, which was get married in probably weeks from then or a month, how the signs of what I was about to endure, what I was about to commit to wasn't totally right or embodied. It was, again, I think there was a lot of like me not willing to be conscious of all of those things that happened in those 36 hours, but they were like, we don't care how defensive and how much disassociation you're going to do towards this. We're just going to keep coming. We're just going to keep putting it in your face. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but it's a hard thing because that was also like over 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And also because that was such a whirlwind of a time, I still have fragments of memory towards that because there's a tremendous amount of, like I said in the beginning, humility and shame and grief. So it's actually it's a hard time to get all the memories succinctly, to remember them clearly.
Yeah.
But that, I hope I'm answering that the best I can. I mean,
Yeah.
what about you? I mean, like, what?
Well, yeah, well, this weekend that we're talking about was jam-packed with all kinds of crazy stuff, like crazy coincidences, crazy circumstances that you would never find anywhere else, like just so much stuff everywhere we turned. But I mean, between us and our friendship and the years we've been friends, we've had so many of those things happen, but it hasn't always been like so jam-packed into a weekend. But so I almost think, regardless of what it is that's happening, I also think of just the concept of these, let's just call them signs for lack of a better term around them, like that in itself is a transitional object for us. Like every time it could be anything, but every time there's something that comes up out of nowhere that is a weird synchronicity that has this personal meaning to us or one of us, for me, that's one way that I attach onto a transitional object. And I guess I make sense of that is that's a piece that keeps me connected to you and that I choose to believe points to a greater meaning or connection with the universe or whatever terminology you want to use around that.
Right. Yeah. The words are hard to describe some of the things that you and I have witnessed together. Right. I mean, just like softly transitioning here, I want to hear from you about
what do you want to hear?
Like, well, how you conceptualize transitional objects, these cosmic, like signs that have been so orbiting you and me for so long.
Yeah, the signs themselves. Well, I know for sure one point in our friendship where these signs really became like in your face and something we talked about more, which was Beau's death. But what I'm wondering is if you remember, do you remember that existing before his death between us? Like something we talked about or noted before?
Gosh, again, that's a really good question. I feel like we probably did.
There must have been.
There must have been. Well, let's be fair here. I remember before Beau died, we even talked to Beau one night and he had mentioned, wow, wow, what is
So you're the
going on
famous.
with yeah, what is going on with you two?
Okay, so yeah, you're right.
There's something, what the heck? I'm using my words to describe you, especially back then, but Laura was very much a reserved, quiet, somewhat shy personality, and I wasn't. I was out there. I
Yes.
was loud, and so I think Bo even started to see like, wow, there's a magnetic connection
Yeah.
between you 2.
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. And he actually never met you, but he talked to you on
No.
the phone. So yes, you're right. This did exist before he died,
Yes.
because he commented on it.
Yes,
And
that's right.
now that we're talking this through, like, of course this existed before he died because that was part of the dynamic between us. What made that was just we'd be doing whatever we'd be doing and like some crazy thing would happen. We're like, wow.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, the reason that I initially associated with Bo was because I think this evolved when Bo died and something like that would happen. We developed a term for it, which was dragonfly. And so ever since then, even if it's not related to Bo, but something happens between the two of us, that's the word we just use to call it, like we dragonfly. So that's
Yes.
how that tracks back in my brain. But I don't even know where to go with. Like, I feel
I
like
know, there's so much.
there's
There's
so
so
many
much.
things that have
I mean,
happened.
I can just fill you in, maybe just jumpstart you a bit.
Yeah.
I remember directly after Bo died, we again were working at Lululemon.
Mhm.
I mean, we really ran that store. It was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
when it was like days after he died, and this is again Santa Monica, California, right on the promenade. If people are familiar, it is like people are going there all year round. It
Mhm.
is very touristy. It's very populated, very pedestrian, and the power went out of the whole block.
Well, yes, and power went out multiple times
Yep.
and some of the times it only went out in our store in
Yep.
Lululemon. It didn't go
Yep.
out in the whole other shopping mall surrounding
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
But that was one of the things that after, and this was in the week
Yeah.
following his death.
No, I know. It was like all days after.
Yeah,
Do you remember the empty phone calls?
yeah, oh yeah. People, the phone would ring in the store, nobody would be there. Yeah,
Do
so
you
there were
remember the lights flickering in on and
like
off?
I didn't remember that one as clearly, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I do.
Uh, Okay. Everything was so heightened
Yeah,
for us.
for both
For
of
you.
us, for
Yeah,
me, but also for you. It was like you were
absolutely.
getting a lot of this communication too.
Yes.
So
Yes. At the time, it was like really kind of unsettling and
yeah,
eerie, but also at the same time comforting
was it
for
unsettling for
you.
you?
It was, I just like I didn't know how to make sense of it because I've never experienced it like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
so yeah, it was, I mean, I just remember, ooh, like being a little scared but also again at the same time felt held, if that makes sense,
yeah,
for
yeah.
you and with you.
Yeah. So yeah, just giving a little context, Bo was the closest person other than you, the closest person to me who died unexpectedly when I was 26. You would have been what, 23,
20,
24?
yeah, 23.
And immediately following his death, and even probably lasting a few months following his death, like we had all kinds of crazy things happen, a lot involving electricity
Yeah.
that we made sense of being maybe I'll speak for myself. I made sense
Mhm.
of being a way that his energy was
Mhm.
connecting with us.
Yeah.
And in those earliest days, yeah, like I was desperate for that. That was not scary to me. And I've
Mhm.
actually never thought about what that would be like to you to have somebody you don't know's energy like all over the place, right? Right there. But for
Mhm.
me, those were like gold. Like those little things were
Yeah.
pieces of gold that I'm so grateful. There were so many of them. And that's really
Mhm.
what made me like coming prior to that, having no belief system around death, that changed my entire belief system because it was something undeniable that not just me, like you
Yeah, I
thought,
know.
and all the people we worked with
Right.
saw, felt, experienced over and over and over and over again.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that would be a little difference between you and me. Again, like I didn't know Bo like you knew Bo. I knew the concept of him, and the concept of him was just totally rad. This like super rebellious, radical man, just
Radical.
so much, so yeah,
I haven't heard that word in a long time.
rascal. Like he touched so many people.
Mhm.
And so I felt like I knew him, but
Yeah.
then when he died, it's just like in a weird way, honestly, I felt like I knew him better
In
when he
death.
died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so interesting because you were like his
I
energy
know. I
was
know.
there and you were like surrounded by it for so
Yeah,
long that in a way you did know him in a way. And in
that's
a
how I
way that
feel.
like is really unique. Like not a lot of people knew him in that way.
It's kind of I don't even know the word yet, but what a true sense of someone.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't even met him,
Yeah.
but his energy is what I knew
Mm-hmm.
and what I like really knew after he died.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so telling, you know?
Yeah. Yes. So for definitely those early days, weeks, months, probably even early years, like all of this stuff was a transitional object for me.
Yep.
It was something, it was experiences that helped me get through the hardest time of my life. So that's yeah, one way that these things as the concept of transitional objects has shown up.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did you have any transitional objects when you were a kid?
Oh my God, yes. My thumb. I like, I mean, like, disclaimer, TMI. I sucked my thumb until I was 9 or 10.
Mm,
I
I
know.
don't know if I
And
ever
then I
knew that.
needed, really?
I probably knew it at some point.
Probably. Yeah, I sucked my thumb until I was 9 or 10.
Mm,
And I remember having a blankie. I had a blankie too that was like turned into like a rag that my mom had to throw out. Devastating.
mm, mhm.
But I was like, well, I still have my thumb.
Still, I
So
can't take that away.
I can't take that away. So
Oh.
try. Um, but yeah, that what about you?
What did those do for you?
Yeah, soothe me big time. It's interesting, like I gosh, I really relied on my thumb a lot when I felt scared, a lot when I felt uncomfortable. I remember my parents didn't have a lot of money when I grew up, like when I was really young, and they didn't have me in like a preschool setting or a daycare setting. Went to kind of like a home, like babysitter situation. And I, I mean, I had some happy moments there, but I just remember feeling a little uncomfortable there. And some of the dynamics, some of the relationships there were scary. And I remember this babysitter who was also a mother, she sewed a lot. So she had a lot of like fabrics, all like scrap fabrics. And I remember having this pink, it was like a satin silk, like scrap that I clung to. And I sucked my thumb with this like scrap. And I
Mm,
remember like keeping that with me every single time that I was there, which was pretty much every day.
mhm.
And yeah, I witnessed some things that I probably shouldn't have witnessed. Not shouldn't. I shouldn't have witnessed at such a young age. And I remember when I had the words, I remember telling my parents, like, I don't want to go there anymore. I'm starting to have a lot of stomach aches and just really feeling disassociated at such a young age, going there every day, feeling like it was never going to end. Like, when can I stop going here?
Mm.
And then Yeah. So anyway, I know I'm going into a trail here, but it helped me. I remember just sucking my thumb with this piece of scratch silk, feeling like this is going to soothe me. This is going to soothe me. This is going to soothe me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt a lot of, I was anxious there a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
provided that sense of comfort
Yeah.
and a little bit of safety in a situation that wasn't, sounds like it actually wasn't safe, but you also just didn't feel safe there.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I remember, so when I left there, I was a latchkey kid. Do you know what a latchkey kid is?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, right? 80s. Different times. But when the reason why we had to stop going there was because I was losing hair.
Mm.
And I would come home with, I think I have a little scars on my face,
Oh.
cuts on my face. Yeah, because of a lot of we got in fights and with other kids. And yeah, I know. It's interesting to talk about it. But so then my mom and my dad were said, and we're done. But I was only 6. I was 6, but I went to a school right down the street. So I remember we would my father we'd do these practice. You've been to my house in New Hampshire. We'd have practice walking up and down, walking up and down. When I live on that really steep hill, up and down to, because I would be home after school for like an hour and a half until my parents would come home. So I would have to, after school at 6 years old, with my backpack, walk all the way up the street, get the key in the shed, and be in my house alone to wait for my parents until they came home from work.
Oh my
And
God, as a
y-
6-year-old.
yeah, I know. And I have an 8 and a 5-year-old. Oh my God, like absolutely not. But as you can imagine, this is where my self-sufficiency and independence and autonomy, whether
Mhm.
I wanted it or not, whether I was ready for it or not, happened. And it was then that I think both of my parents were like, oh gosh, we could trust her. She's doing this great. Like, so other things became like, well, you're going to ride your bike at 4. But anyway, through all of that, I still had my thumb. I mean, it's like, I couldn't wait to get out of school to go suck my thumb.
Oh my gosh, how sad that when you think about that as being the thing that calms you and soothes you. You had to get through a whole school day. Like it doesn't matter what the thing is,
I,
but you had to get through a whole school day not being calmed and soothed.
yeah.
That's so sad.
Well, I will say going to school was like, because again, I started kindergarten when I was 4.
You're a
I'm like,
September baby.
I'm a September baby, but yeah. So anyway, after kindergarten, which was only a half day, I had to go to my babysitters. So I still had to go there, and I really just wanted to go home. And so it was like a year of that. 5 or 6. Yeah, I think I've just turned 6. It wasn't going well, and they said, "Okay, we're done." Which honestly, like I was just I was like, "I'm free." I'm like, I don't have to be in anxiety. I get to be in my space. I'm safe. I'm secure. I can walk up the hill and get the key. Friggin', what else do you want me to do? When you feel like, oh yeah, I can do anything. I endured that. I can do anything.
Yeah, endure.
Yeah,
I think you've talked about that before of endurance, your ability
yeah,
to endure being a thing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
withstand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. What
Yeah.
about you?
I
What, like when you were young?
Well, I was trying to think about this earlier. I don't think I had a transitional object. I don't remember having one, which I think was problematic in itself. Like I didn't have a thing that could be soothing to me. Thinking about like sucking a thumb or something, like that would never, like if I even tried to do that, that would never have been tolerated by my dad. That would have been like, absolutely not. You cannot
Okay.
do that. So like things like that, like I don't necessarily remember like trying things like that, but I could also, from what I know, like I could also see that anything I might have tried to use might have been like taken away from me or dismissed, which I think that, as I'm sure at some point during this podcast episode, or it's not episode, season, will come to light in some way. But I'm sure that led to a lot of ways in which I learned how to become. Like I didn't have a thing. So I think I always had to like find one, but then not find one, but feel like I was in search of one, like trying to find something that could be that soothing thing, but then in some ways not feeling like I could have it, like I was allowed to have it, or I was allowed to pursue it.
Right. Like so yeah, hearing that makes me sad too, for your little self. It's like, oh, to be conditioned and taught that your needs and your wants for regulation and soothing are not good enough.
Or not allowed.
Not allowed. And there's shame with that.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, hearing you say that about dad, it's like you also learned to withstand.
Yeah.
I mean, withstand so much.
Withstand, yes, to withstand, and also to hide that discomfort or dysregulation or whatever, because I think that was the way I learned how to deal with it, was just pretend it didn't exist and hide it from other people, but definitely also hide it from myself.
Don't you just want to give your little you a hug?
Yeah.
Oh, honey.
I know.
It's like, don't hide. Do all the things you need to do.
Yeah, but that wasn't supported. That wasn't taught.
Oh, I know.
And yeah.
I know. I'm just telling her now.
I just tell her now. Just send her a message.
Oh, honey. Yeah, that makes sense. Like maybe I'm just kind of making connections here. Maybe that's because there was so many things that it was just communicated or just assumed that it wasn't allowed, that it may have gradually shaped your disposition. You know what I mean? The reserved kind of big time. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has something to do with how you exist in the world.
Oh, yeah, I think it does, for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I actually remember, because I think when I was very young, I wasn't so much that. I don't know, maybe I was quieter than the average kid, but I don't think I was like as reserved as I was. But I have a distinct memory of it. So I'm the oldest of three kids, and I liked to try to like control them and like tell them what to do. Maybe because that was the only power I had.
Could be. Good connection.
But I remember we would make like music videos or something, like play a song and like dance. This was when camcorders first came out. So we would record like this huge camcorder recording a music video, but I would take control and tell my brother and sister what they had to do and how they had to move and how the whole thing would go and plan the whole thing out. And I remember my parents were performing this for my parents. And my dad making a comment of, "Oh, Laura, you are such a ham," which, side note, could you imagine anybody these days calling me a ham?
I was just going to say, this is so disorienting. This is it sounds so like, different world. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
But I remember him making that comment, and I don't think he was trying to be mean with it. It was just like it was kind of, "Oh, you're so silly," how we might say that. Like, but I took it as being a bad thing. Like I understood I can't tell you why that's the way I interpreted it, but my little brain interpreted that as him pointing out something that was wrong with me and it was bad and I needed to stop doing that. And that's why I made sense of it. And so that was a turning point in like kind of not who I was, but like how I chose to show up in the world.
So what did you learn? What was your takeaway when you heard him say that? Like, how did you change?
That I think I defined the way acting, which was trying to be directive with my siblings, fell under the title of ham, and ham was bad. Being that way was bad. And being like, I was I guess not only was I directing them, but I was like singing and performing and wouldn't just being like really, I don't know, active and engaged in this music video, whatever
animated, like
yeah,
being
really animated,
unfiltered.
Yes, yeah. And I interpreted all of that as being bad and something I needed to stop doing.
So developmentally on par too for you to think of it, because it's so concrete operationally formed as like a young person, because it's like good, bad,
Yes.
good girl, bad girl, all, nothing, black, white. And again, hearing you say this, I feel so sad for this little you, because it's like, here you are, like, here's a platform and a literal stage of you, like, feeling safe in your body, feeling animated, feeling unfiltered, and then having this person that you love call you something. Because usually it sounds like he's very like directive and critical, and so
could be,
okay, could be.
And actually that might be, I hadn't thought of that before, but he was often critical, and so it may be that's just the natural deduction I took from it. Yeah,
exactly. Like, oh, here it is again. And so it's like, oh my God, it's like to get in a time capsule and go back to that moment and just be like, oh, sweetie, no, that's an endearment term. That is an expression of love.
Yeah.
To see like
a different person,
to see who you would be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it's interesting. It's like, to be the opposite of that, one would assume, right? Like, there's more passivity, there's being reserved, there's more quiet shyness, less animation, more rigidity. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so that really shaped
a
lot of
your
again, I don't want to
disposition.
say who I became, because I don't think that's, but how I interacted with the world.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. I never knew that about you.
Yeah, well, I never knew.
Just when you know, just when you think you know,
just when you think you know someone, you learn about all their childhood trauma.
My goodness. I just remember the cutest little photo of you with an eye patch.
Oh yeah, that was cute for everybody except for me.
I know. And like your Coke bottle glasses.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so like I mean, these days I'm glad my parents caught it when I was like 2 years old, which, because they caught it so early, they were able to correct it, which is great for me now. But they caught that one of my eyes just wasn't working. Like, it wasn't I don't know the terminology, but it wasn't a lazy eye in the sense if you looked at me, you would see anything wrong, but it just wasn't working. And so the other eye was doing all the work. So they were able to correct it. But what that meant was, when I was so young, I had to wear an eye patch and really thick glasses, which was hard for so many reasons. One of those being made fun of by the other kids. But so going through, and that's just one thing, but going through that without having anything to calm me, to ground me, without having any transitional object. It was a rough childhood.
My gosh. Yeah. Oh, I'm not laughing at it. It's just,
no,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like those are the times where you feel like but then even if you did suck your thumb, you'd have to hide it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that points to how some of the later transitional objects came to be in adulthood, but that's a story for another day.
I mean, we're just like cracking the surface.
I know.
Like, how do you even start our first episode when you have all these unexplained phenomenon? Yeah, phenomenon, cosmic stuff. But I have faith and I believe in us. I feel like we're going to do our best to make sense of our experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I think
Yeah.
we've probably been blabbering for long enough, though,
I
for
know.
today.
Sorry,
feel-
guys.
But is there anything else that we feel like we need to say today to wrap up our first episode of Transitional Objects?
Yeah, a little bit how I remember ending our Grief on Purpose episode was, and I think in more or less words you said it, it's like, man, I'm really grateful for these transitional objects. And this will probably be engaged in future episodes under the guise of transitional objects, but I've had some pretty unhealthy transitional objects that
Me too.
Yeah.
We've
that
had
I'm
some
still-
together.
Yeah, right. Exactly. To be continued, but that I would not take back. And I had to, I'm going to use the word again, endure.
Mhm.
And that I'm grateful that I endured and withstood those transitional objects. So yeah, I mean, I think just like expressing my gratitude towards them
Yeah.
is important.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to conclude with?
No, nothing additional. I like that, the gratitude towards them, because yeah, we can joke about them, and some of them maybe would fall under the category of bad choices, but still, yeah, I don't know if I would change them if I had the
Right.
opportunity to.
Right.
And they've certainly brought life experience, and with
Mhm.
that certainly brought some lessons that I maybe never otherwise would have got. So yes,
Exactly.
grateful for them too.
Yeah. We've lived a colorful, rich life
Mhm. Yeah.
with all of our transitional objects.
Yeah. And they bring us the ability to like talk about them now from a different
Right.
vantage point.
Yes. Which is so crucial. So important.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, thanks, BFF.
Yeah. Until next time. See you on the flip side. Episode 2.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Bye.
That's our episode. Proof that therapists can overshare too. If you're leaving this feeling a little more human, good. That's kind of the point. Send this to someone who gets it, or someone who really needs to. We'll be back soon with more stories, more tenderness, and a rotating cast of unresolved issues. And maybe a few coping skills. Maybe. Until then, hold yourself like you would someone you love.